On 23rd of January 1996, in New Delhi, India, Priyadarshini Mattoo, a 25-year-old law student, was found dead in her uncle's home. The tragedy devastated her family, obviously, but what was even more horrifying was the manner in which she had died. Hey, greetings humans, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe to stay up to date with new content coming from me. Don't forget to like and share this video to help the algorithm suggest my channel to more people. Priyadarshini Mattoo was a young law student who was born in 1974 in New Delhi, India. She was a bright and talented student who was passionate about pursuing a career in law. After high school, her family moved to the city of Jammu, where she received her bachelor's degree in commerce. But her love for law still burned hurt, and so she decided to pursue this passion and apply to Delhi University to study law. Being accepted to the university to study law was a dream come true for her. It was during her first year at the university that she met a man by the name of Santosh Kumar Singh, who was also a law student but a couple of years ahead of her. Santosh was born in 1972, the son of a senior Indian police officer. In fact, his father, P.J. Singh, was the Inspector General of Police and later served as Joint Commissioner of Police in Delhi. Take note of this fact, as it will be a very important factor later on in the story. He came from a privileged background and his family had strong connections in the political and administrative circles of the city. Priya and Santosh were both active members of the student community and became acquainted with each other through their common interest. Santosh would go ahead and ask Priya out and also ask her for a relationship, but she wasn't interested and told him no. Santosh soon developed an unhealthy obsession with Priya and began stalking and harassing her relentlessly. Despite her repeated attempts to distance herself from him, he continued to follow her and make unwanted advances and even threatened her on several occasions. Priya's family, fearing for her safety, went to the police with their concerns, but were often brushed aside and told they have nothing to worry about. On her family's insistence, Priya was at one time assigned a personal security officer to ensure her safety, but this did not stop the stalking. In a malicious act of revenge for daring to protect herself, Santosh lodged a complaint against Priya with the university, alleging that Priya was pursuing 2 degrees simultaneously, which was proven to not be true at all. This aggravated Priya's family to no end. They further complained to the police, but were told that Santosh was just a young man in love and has the right to express his love. I mean, what could go wrong? Well, something did go wrong on January 23, 1996, when Priya was tragically murdered at her uncle's home in New Delhi. She was only 25 years old at the time of her death. On that fateful day, as usual, Santosh followed Priya home to her uncle's house where she lived. After looking around in the streets for some time, he walked up to her house and knocked. One of the servants opened the door and let him in after he told them that he wanted to discuss the current legal proceedings that Priya had against him and reach a settlement of some sort. During the meeting, Santosh assaulted Priya and then strangled her with an electric wire. He got a hold of his motorcycle helmet and bashed her face beyond recognition with it. He then ran away from the scene of the crime. What was confusing during the incident, however, was how this servant didn't know that Santosh had been a threat to Priya for some time now. Why did they not have someone present in the room with her when she was meeting with Santosh? Police were called after the crime scene was discovered, and inevitably, Santosh became the prime suspect. He was the last one that was seen in the same room with Priya prior to her untimely death. Several pieces of evidence from the crime scene linked him to the crime, Obviously, his stalking and open public assault of Priya on several occasions made it glaring even for the blind man to see that this man was up to no good. The motorcycle helmet found at the murder scene was identified during investigation as belonging to Santosh. This was a crucial piece of evidence that linked him to the murder. Also, the DNA analysis of the electric wire found at the scene of the murder strongly implied it belonged to Santosh. During the murder trial in 1999, police bungled evidence, leading to the defense team to plead to the presiding judge to discount some of the evidence. For example, the motorcycle helmet with the shattered visor found at the scene of the crime was so poorly presented, it was as if the prosecution was deliberately trying to lose the case. It was even said that the police tried to assist the accused and his defense team during the trials. They manufactured a bunch of false evidence for the defense team and even had a police witness come in and testify for the defense. Remember the servant that opened the door for Priya to be assaulted and murdered? He wasn't even produced as a witness, and neither was he allowed to be interviewed. The police claimed they weren't able to produce the servant, who goes by the name Prasad. They claimed that Prasad had gone missing without a trace, but in strange turn of events, Prasad was easily located in a nearby village by a journalist who wanted to interview him. The DNA found on the semen at the scene of the crime somehow got lost, and police fabricated a new DNA in its place. Why was the police doing their very best to lose the case? Because Santosh's father, P.J. Singh, was the Joint Commissioner of Police of the state where the case was being tried. The case was a classic example of how the powerful use their influence to evade justice. Santosh's father tried to save him from the law's clutches, and for almost a decade, the case lingered in the courts. Eventually, Santosh was acquitted of the crime in 1999 and cleared of any wrongdoing, and he walked away a free man. The judge did acknowledge that there was no doubt that Santosh was the man responsible for the crime, but that the prosecution has not been able to prove their case. He felt constrained to let Santosh go to give him the benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, Priya's family had to bear the trauma of losing their beloved daughter. On February 29, the year 2000, India's Criminal Bureau of Investigation, after much pressure from the public, challenged the New Delhi High Court ruling, and the case dragged on for much longer. But justice finally caught up with Santosh on October 30, 2006. After 6 years of fresh legal battle after his initial acquittal, the New Delhi High Court sentenced Santosh to death. Santosh by that time has since been married and became a practicing lawyer in New Delhi. It finally seemed like Priya's family would finally get some closure, but the legal battle was far from over. Santosh's family appealed to the Supreme Court, and the case dragged on for years. In 2010, the Supreme Court commuted his death sentence to life imprisonment, citing inordinate delay in deciding his mercy petition. It was a massive blow to Priya's family, who had been fighting for justice for almost 15 years. The case exposed the rampant corruption in the Indian legal system, where the rich and powerful can bend the law to their will, but it also highlighted the resilience of ordinary citizens who refused to give up on their fight for justice. In 2017, the Delhi High Court upheld Santosh's life sentence. They stated that he deserved no leniency given the brutal nature of the crime. The court also observed that there was no doubt that Santosh had stalked and harassed Priya for years, and the murder was a result of his obsession. He remains in prison to this day, and we hope that this case serves as a deterrent to others like him. Until next time, humans, stay safe out there.